Hi, we are Bo and Holly Blakey. I am the equipping pastor here at Countryside, and a little bit of our story about what community groups have meant in our life. We are new to Countryside, been here for almost a year, and one of the things that has always been a strength for us is being involved with ministry. We really haven't had that many struggles when it comes to life and staying focused on God because it was just a big part of our life. A few years ago, we moved to Stillwater, and during that time of getting settled in, finding a church family, and getting involved in the community, Holly got sick, and it really kind of turned our life upside down.
So going through that time was very challenging for us, obviously, emotionally, and even though we have family just right up the road, just about 15 minutes away, it was hard on them as well. It was a very, very difficult time not knowing what was going on, and things were happening really fast. And so we, being new to town, were going to church every Sunday, but we didn't really feel like we had a church family. And therefore, we truly felt like we were going through this experience all alone. And that made it especially hard.
During the time that Holly got sick, it really turned our life upside down. From a spiritual perspective, from a scheduling perspective, our first little involvement of understanding her sickness was that she had to be gone for 6 weeks. During that time, it was really hard on our family schedules, taking care of the girls and just keeping everything moving. And even when Holly came back, putting all the pieces together was still difficult. We managed, and God, He is always faithful and always been there, but it still was a really hard time. So a year ago, we came on staff here at Countryside and still battling the sickness and trying to work through it. It was a hard time. But one of the things that made the difference in our life was when we were involved in a community group. Our community group meets on Sunday evening, and during this last few months, she had to go away again for treatment. And it was during that time that our community group and those relationships began to make a huge difference in our life.
So what our community group did right away was pray over us. And that made, I can't even tell you the difference that meant to me and made for us. Just coming together with people that truly care. And they knew more of what was going on, and therefore they could be very specific. And so while I was away, it was just fantastic to get emails and texts and Facebook messages, and just to know that they were praying for my girls, that they were praying for Bo. And then they went above and beyond that, and they provided meals for them while I was gone. But just encouraging messages and hearing from them and them understanding. And so now that I'm back, and of course, still battling. Every day is different for me, but they stocked our freezer. And so on days when I'm having a rough time, I can pull something out and feed my family a warm meal. And I think about those people, and it just brings tears to my eyes on those days when I'm really struggling, to know that they loved us enough to provide for us in that way, and to pray for us. And even when I come to church, since we started the community group again, and we've experienced this through our lives in different churches and different ministries, but to walk into church and to have someone come and say, "How are you today?" And that there's so much more behind that question than just the surface. And it's those relationships that we develop through community groups that take it to a completely different level. And when you come to church and you see those familiar faces, and you see those people who are praying for you, and knowing your real life struggles, not just praying for you as another name on the list, it makes a difference. And to have those hugs and to catch those eyes across the sanctuary means the world to me.
During this time that we were involved in the community group and Holly was gone, our community group did so many things for us, like bringing us food, the notes, and everything was really nice. And I'd say the two things that really stand out in my mind that made such a difference was their willingness to pray for us and be involved with our life. But the second thing was just knowing that they cared. Knowing that somebody in our church really genuinely cared about our family and was willing to be there for us. And I would just say this, without that community group, it becomes almost an impossible time to get through. Yes, we can get through it and we'll make it, but knowing somebody loves you and cares for you and is praying for you makes all the difference. And to me, that's what church is all about. That's what family is all about. And it happens through those close, intimate relationships. And I would just say this, if you're not in a community group, you need to be in one. Not because something bad might happen, but to nurture those relationships and just know that we do love and care for each other. And it happens on that smaller scale.